Mm-hmm. We
Here we
live.
are.
We live. All right. Gotta wait on these
Yeah.
people for a second. Then I'll tell them what's happening. Anybody that's gonna watch from home, what's gonna go down is Morgan and I. We're gonna do something special. We're gonna answer questions. We're gonna do like a panel between us. We're gonna get real. We're gonna get intimate with you, and
Real
we're
deep.
gonna we're gonna answer improv questions because at this point, it's currently 2:10 in the morning. I don't know when you're going to watch this, but it's 2:10 a.m. So we're finding anything. And I mean anything.
And we have some ideas for our next series in this marathon thingy.
Yeah, on the next episode of I Shouldn't Be Alive. Oh.
So let's start with our first question.
Oh, we got that one viewer. Got that one viewer.
Shout out.
All right. Yeah, shout out. I don't know if it's Maria or Mo. Uh, but
Let's just start.
So the first question would have to be, do you have a, well, all right, first viewer, I'm sorry, I didn't explain what's gonna happen. We're gonna get real and we're gonna answer questions about improv. So the first question for you, Morgan, is, do you have a favorite improv scene and what is it?
That I've done, obviously.
That you've been in? Or...
I think, I don't know if it's my favorite, but I think one of my first big improv memories was my first flex show, the first show I did during school. And I was Jenny. I was this nerd.
Oh, I remember that.
Almost didn't happen because I stepped on stage and then like over on the other side of stage, they had stepped up and started talking. And so I was just like over here by myself. And I was like, I'm going to start breathing heavily and walking funny because that'll add to the scene of being like unpopular.
Yeah, that's true.
So
You got a hashtag, didn't it?
yeah, it was hashtag Jenny. My name was Jenny, and I my throat actually physically hurt after the show because I was hi guys.
Yeah, I totally remember that
And
too.
it was a lot of work to keep that snort breathe thing going, and I was hoarse for like the rest of the day.
I think I remember that because it was like it was I think it was you were one of the few people. What happened was after the improv team with the three original teams, the blank, copyright flop, and Lil Real. What happened was we brought like four or five people up from
Yeah.
the next semester, and that was like it. And you were one of those, along with Annie and Lindsay.
Mm-hmm.
Who else?
And I feel bad, but
I don't really remember because everybody's been on the team so long.
yeah.
And it's not like you guys went to one team like we have Loose Vegas. They're just in one. There's just one team, so we can just name who's new. We have our second viewer tonight. It's Motaz, and what's going to happen is we're going to answer questions about improv because you guys have stuck with us until friggin' 2:10 in the morning, so you deserve a little inside treat.
The scoop of red octopus ice cream.
Yeah, pretty much. You got a question for me, Morgan, or you just want me to answer the same one?
And you can answer the same one, and then I can ask you a question.
Or you don't answer the same one then. All right. I have a lot of favorite improv scenes, I guess, because I like them all. But I remember, it was like one of the first times. It might have been the first time we had a flex show in the black box as copyright flop. I don't even think Annie was on the team yet. This was back in the day, and no, what am I saying? We were doing this show. And it was the first time that it was like, wow, we're a good team. Like we're good at this. People want to see this because I feel like we had like 100 people show up. And that was like the first time because we had the room for it because we were in the black box, and we did this show. And the suggestion was New Year's, and one of my scenes that I was in, I love it so much because it was just so much fun. Um, I was this 22-year-old that needed to get babysat. I was like a grown baby, and I was like 22 and I needed to get babysat by this babysitter, and it was the first time that I was like Olivia, who was on my team. I was like, I love working with her because she added to that scene so well. Because I was just like, I walked out and I was like trying to be a suave baby man with Olivia, and I was just like, just got my sippy cup of bourbon, and like, and then my mom called, and oh my god, it was so much fun doing that scene. She called, and I think I was like, let me talk to my mom, and I was talking to her, and we got into this argument because like I was trying to put the moves on the babysitter, and I was like, hey, I was like, my mom, let me talk to her, and I like grabbed the phone, and I was like, hi mom, and, like, and then like we were talking, and Hodge from out of nowhere was like, uh, cut to 2 hours later in the call, and I like right after that, uh, I was just like, as soon like right after he said that, I was like, this is why Dad left. It was so
I
much fun. I love that.
think that was before I started coming to improv shows. I don't remember that one.
It was early. You had a question for me?
I do. When was the first moment you realized that you want to do improv?
Day one. No, that's not true. Well, actually, it might be. What do you mean by want to do improv? Like
Like, when
the
did you, it could have been in theater arts too, but like, when did you decide like this would be cool to continue to do?
okay. Well, I guess there's really two answers to that because I was in theater arts, and this is before the team was an idea. We were
Mm-hmm.
just doing it as a unit. And what happened was my theater arts class, which was my freshman year, was the guinea pigs for the new improv unit that Hodge had created because Hodge, and I did a the little documentary for TV production, and I asked him about all this stuff, and I asked him how he came up with the new curriculum, and he was just like, I did not like the improv we were doing, and I heard that Matt Walsh and Matt Besser and all of UCB wrote a manual. So he looked it up. He was like UCB manual, and he looked it up and he read it, and then he created the curriculum around that. So most of theater arts was, learning the
Mm-hmm.
UCB way of uh, improv, the long form UCB improv. And so we had been taught that, and we were doing 3-line scenes, and I stepped out with this girl. I want to say her name was Erin. I don't really remember. And we were being old ladies, and I was walking with my cane or walker, and I was like, my grandson is so great. He's a hot and a doctor, or he's a doctor, and then Aaron, or I want to say that's her name. No, 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 no. It was Mary. It was totally Mary. It was Mary. Mary was like, uh, Mary was like, is he hot? And I went, and single. And like it, like Hodge laughed, and I had so much fun doing that because it was like really the first time. Because before that, we were doing like dumb warm up games, and that was the first time we really did anything close to a scene, and it went well.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know what, this would be fun. And then second semester or second half of the school year, we get that email. The originals get the email uh, about joining the improv team, about being invited, and and as soon as I got it, I was just like, yes, please. Like 2 seconds, and I joined, and then I guess I want to say end of last year into beginning of this year. I want to say I did, or even during the summer, I decided that I want to do improv as like a career, as a thing for the rest of my life, like go to the UCB and everything. So, what about you, Morgan?
I remember I always thought it was kind of a cool thing. I had seen some of the flex shows from friends that told me to go see them, and I was like, "Oh, this is kind of cool." And me being the kind of person I am, if I see something that's cool, I want to do it. I want to be part of that cool thing. And so during theater arts, we had a team. My team was Goldfish Dates. Yes, a goldfish on a date. And we,
Goldfish dates?
uh huh.
Dude, we didn't even pick teams in our theater arts.
Yep,
You lucky.
I had team name. Uh huh. We had a whole, and our final project was to do like a show. It was 10 minutes maybe, and the
Yeah, that's
suggestion
what we had to do.
was like leaf, like a leaf on a tree,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and we did a scene about bugs being inside our noses and not wanting to get blown out on tissues because leaves were the best way to go. And Hodge was so happy with the performance that, and he had filmed him on his laptop, that he just closed his lid and then it never saved and it deleted forever. And we were all really bummed, but I was just kind of like, this would
Special.
be, yeah, this would be really cool to keep doing. And there were like seniors on my team in theater arts, so I knew it wasn't going to be Goldfish Dates that could do it, but I was just kind of like buttering up to Hodge, like, hey. Of course, that did nothing to help or hinder me because he's Hodge. But
Yeah, it's true.
yeah, I got that email, and like you, within seconds, I was like, yes, I want to
Yeah,
do that.
I was in within moments. When we did that show, that's how it is at the UCB too. Because like I looked at the class stuff, and it's like when you do all the classes at the end, you got to do a show for people, like a paying audience for like the $2 weekday show. Um, but when we did it, we didn't even have teams or team names. He like picked people that day.
Hmm.
We all went up and like I did a scene where I was a foxy grandma.
You and your grandmas.
I love being a woman. I'm not gonna lie. I love doing that in improv. So much fun. But what happened was two girls walked out on stage and they were like, this was the first half of the school year. That's when I hit theater arts freshman year. So it was the first half, and we were they were setting up for Christmas. They were setting up for Christmas, and they were like, I wonder when Grandma's gonna get here. And it was at that point I knew I was Grandma, and I stepped up with one other person on my team on my arm, and I knocked on the door. And they were like, "Who is it?" And I was like, "It's your grandmother." And I did like the smoker voice old woman thing. And then I walked in and I sat down and I was like, "This is my nurse," because they asked me who he was. The dude in my arm was like, "This is my nurse. He gives me sponge baths." And then one of my friends, Nick, who was on my team, walked in. He was like, "Hey, babe, I got the beer," talking to me. And I was just like, "Great, come sit on my lap." And like, oh my god, it escalated so quickly. Oh, that was the best. But I don't know. I guess a question would have to be, what most have you changed about your improvisational style?
I don't know if it's necessarily my style that I notice has changed, but I know like internally earlier on, I'm kind of like a control freak in some essences. Like in group projects, like I will willingly take over your work to make sure it's done right. So
I don't let people work either.
yeah, I always had like kind of trust issues with my team. Like, okay, they're not going to do this, so I need to step in here, and I need to be funny, and I need to tell the jokes, and I need to be the character. But I think other people may say different, but I think that I've, as a performer, as an improviser, kind of changed my mindset to, this is my team and they've got my back. Like, they're not going to leave me out there to hang. They're not going to, let me take over the scene. They're going to be the parts in the scene that need to be there. So I think that's something that's changed for me.
All right, I'd say like that's yeah. I can remember having. I mean, I wasn't as bad as a lot of people have been in the past, but at some point or another, we all have control issues, whether that be in the beginning or not. Like that's a thing that happens. Like I'm victim of it. It might not have lasted as long or been as bad as some others. I don't really know. I don't really remember other people, but it all happens to us. I'd say one of my things, and I remember this vividly because it's almost like that whole hot wash of shame thing comes over you.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember, I think it was like the team was just starting out and we were just doing practices in Hodges' room. We didn't have teams set up. There was no the blank copyright flop or low reel. And um and what Lynn, we were playing this like kind of short form, long form game, and it's another expert game, and what happens is they walk out and they're like, oh, yada yada, I need your help. And she walked out and she was like, oh, birthing coach, I need your help. And I was like, okay. And I went on to do things like it was like, yeah, and you're gonna need drugs. And I'm not talking epidural. I'm talking hardcore heroin street drugs. Like it was funny and everything. But Hodge at the end of that was just like, Drew, you're reaching into your bag of tricks. You need to branch out more. And I remember that so vividly just because like it affected me, and from that point on I don't get on stage and use drugs or swearing or uh, inappropriate jokes referring to things like genitalia and
Mm-hmm.
sex, stuff like that. So it's just something that really stuck with me that I changed a lot. We actually have a viewer question.
Oh,
What will you take out of improv?
taking the easy route and not have to think of a question. What will I take out of improv? I know for me, it's kind of to never let it go. In college, I've already like messaged the director of the improv teams and like getting my foot in the door for the auditions for the improv teams. But I mean, it's life lessons you learn in improv. It's trust, it's relationships, remembering names, which I still stink at,
You know,
both within the scene and outside of the scenes.
names are. Whew.
um, I mean, that's the biggest thing I think for me.
All right. Yeah, that is something I think I'll take out because, well, I'm trying to go to the UCP and everything, so
Never let
obviously
it
I'm
go.
taking that. But one of the biggest things that I'd say about taking away from improv is the yes and. And I've learned in more recent years, in light of events like almost failing all my classes and failing a class and like being an awful student and being a bad kid. I only say that because like I wasn't like bad outside of school. Like I didn't like beat people up and do the drugs, but like I would never do my work and I was lazy, so I was still like a bad kid. But I made a change. I got my act together and I just thought about improv and thought about like the whole if you just agree and do it or agree and add, life gets easier, which it really does. And I think about it in any argument. Like if you're in like a dumb argument, like just one that just doesn't matter, where it's just not going anywhere, and you're just going back and forth about something stupid like coloring books, and you'll be like, okay, yeah, and you just stop arguing because it was so stupid and shouldn't have been argued about. It's just, who does it make life easier? So I think that's one of the things I really take away from improv is to yes and agree and accept. 'Cause there's a lot of acceptance in that too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna say to our two viewers, Mo and if you if you want to ask us any questions, you know where to find me. And you got any questions, Morgan?
um, we've kind of covered the basics.
Mm,
Of the
true.
general questions. What's the first thing that goes through your mind before a performance, before a show?
Before a show?
Hmm. What are you thinking about? Are you getting yourself in the game zone, or
Oh
how you do that?
God. What do I think about before a show? Well, first of all, what Copyright Flop does is we'll warm up like everybody else, but when we're backstage, we all grab each other by the face like this and tell each other we're gonna do great, like individually to
Hmm.
everybody on the team, and then we walk to either like half of us will walk to either side, or we'll all walk to one, and we'll come out and we'll do our Jimmy Jams to Uptown Funk. And like in that moment where before we're walking out, it's usually just like, is he gonna play our music now?
True. So true.
It's or well, really, what I think about before a show, how I get myself type up is like, you're gonna have fun, jerk.
Hmm.
Like, don't get so concerned. Just have fun. That's really what it's like. Because when you don't have fun, it's not good.
Hmm.
What about you? What do you do before a show?
Well, in my early improv days, I was freaking out inside. But I've learned, and well, I've learned. I can't speak for my team, but to do, I do like jumping jacks, and I'm like running around like crazy, like a little kid, just to burn like adrenaline kicking in early, to like, so I'm not super crazy waiting for Hodge to turn the music on, or like if there's technical difficulties. So I just know to, keep my energy up and not try to be like, I'm serious. It's a show. I got to be like, let it out.
Yeah, I get that. Because energy does need to be up. You can't go out on stage and because especially something like improv where you're gonna get on stage and you might end up being a cat on the floor. Like,
Hmm.
you're gonna take yourself seriously.
No.
Like, I get taking improv seriously, which I do, but in that taking it seriously, you're gonna have to end up as a cat on the floor.
Yeah.
So it's just better to just like keep the energy up and have fun with it. And when you get on the floor, you'll be like, "Yeah, I'm on the floor."
Hmm.
So yeah, keeping energy up's good. That's because you need to look like you want to be there.
Yeah, it's a big part of it too.
I'm sorry to the other viewer that I lied to. I'm so sorry.
Are they just getting
I
on?
forgot to update everybody because I'm stupid and it's 2:30 in the morning, but we're only taking 10-minute breaks because there's two of us in between shows. We're trying to make it to 12. This is round 8. It's like 3 more after we're done with this one at 2:40. We'll start back at 2:50 and then we'll end at like
Math.
3:20. 3:20. Ugh. Round 12 cuz Amy Gerlich,
Shout out.
first of all, shout out
We owe
to
you
Amy
big
Gerlich. Pretty much.
for lots.
Amy's the best. She's a creative director on improv where we do this, and uh, she's been our mentor for how long? How long have we known Amy? How long has the team
A
known
year and
Amy?
a half.
About a
Seems like a
year,
lot
about a
longer.
year and a half, 2 years.
Hmm.
We've worked with Amy. She's come to us. We've gone to her. She's done stuff over the internet. So Amy is the real MVP, along with Hodge, who contacted Amy
Started this.
because Hodge actually had a team on here named Hector and talked to Amy through improv. Like that's how we got to meet Amy. So hats off to improv for connecting us.
we
But I
we
forgot what I
appreciate
was
it.
talking about before I talked about Amy.
I don't remember.
Oh boy.
Welcome to 2:30 in the morning with Drew and Morgan.
Yeah, 10 minutes. Oh, she was on Twitter and she was just like, and Jua, who was here earlier, was complaining about being alone because we've had a 4 day long, 5 day long weekend because of all
Out
the
on the
snow
East
days.
Coast.
Huh. Here we've had that, and Jewel was complaining about being in the house, and Amy tweeted at her and was like, "Do some improv sets, or do an improv set or 12."
So we're doing
So
12.
the dream is 12. I guess we have 5 minutes left. You got any last minute questions? Quick questions.
Um, what's the first thing that goes through your mind when you hear the suggestion? What do you do?
When you hear the suggestion, what did they say?
It
Like it's so true. When you get
is.
out there and you ask for a suggestion, it's like like you don't know what to like. That's all you hear. And there's so many, and then you're like, I gotta repeat this to my team, and I have no idea.
Just like mumble it. What's a
Pretty
suggestion?
much, it's so stupid. I hate it. I hate it so much. Because it's so many people, and we we tried to do a thing. We were trying to mix it up where we would go out and we'd be like, every or this half of the theater give me an adjective, and this half of the theater give me a noun. No one knows what the hell an adjective is. I
A
swear to God,
descriptive
they don't know
word.
what grammar is. Oh my God, it's literally so simple. Like they don't play Mad Libs. Oh, just
True, Mad
describe it.
Libs like haven't been a popular thing for like 10 years. I'm sorry to
What?
do that.
Dude, Mad Libs are my Jimmy Jams. You can go on a road trip. Put down the phones. Here, I'm gonna pull a Hodge, and I'm not gonna end this show until like 4 a.m. because I'm gonna rant about being in the moment.
That's mean. We love you, Hodge.
Hey, I love Hodge. Shout out to Hodge. He's the boss. He's been here, been with us through thick and thin.
He's
He might still be awake. He might be the third viewer.
maybe
Oh.
dun dun dun.
Dude, I'm so tired.
Don't die.
It's okay. I'm all right.
Okay,
But
the first thing
I,
that pops through my mind when I hear a suggestion is, yeah, first off, what did they say?
it's so true.
And then my brain kicks into,
Panic.
I will be honest, in the past like 5 sets, give or take one or two in the middle there, if the suggestion was an animal, I get on the ground and become that animal.
Pretty much.
That is my go-to.
Well, I mean, it's like the simple game and everything.
It is. I'm trying to work
And
on
it
that
just like
though.
branches. Well, I mean, it gets everybody to branch out.
Hmm.
It's like
I like.
that's what's been happening with our sets on here is that we get a suggestion and do like one scene off of it, and then we just go crazy
Hmm. And
because it's 2:38.
I like the physicality of
Oh,
the animals.
it's fun. It really is.
It's fun to become like a dog or a turtle or a bunny rabbit, like, or a Tyrannosaurus Rex. You
Yeah, it
literally
is.
get to be a little kid and people laugh at you and it's
Pretty
okay.
much. Oh my god, so much fun. I love improv. Ugh. With the 2 minutes left, I'm just gonna tell everybody now. Next set, which will be in 10 minutes after this one ends, so 2:50. We're gonna do an expert game where we're each gonna get 15 minutes, a suggestion, and then we're gonna TED talk about it, and then whoever isn't doing the uh, panel TED talk thing is gonna ask questions during it too, just to keep it going.
Mhm.
We do it in class. It's so much fun.
It is really fun.
So I'm excited. Stay tuned for that. It's gonna be great. Uh, 10 minutes. I'm sorry for that last viewer that joined at 2:30 and caught the last 10 minutes. I feel bad, especially if it's Hodge, dude.
You can catch up in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. Go back and watch this once it gets uploaded. You can totes my goats watch. All right, I'm gonna stop broadcasting now.
See you
We'll miss
soon.
you. My heart goes out to all the children.